Hello and welcome to Going 19, episode 16. Today we continue our discussion on part 5 of Stephen King's 11/22/63, titled 11/22/63, chapters 23 through 28. I am Ed. With me are Kirsten and Amber. Let's start the show.
We were talking about
Jake getting away from what had to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that what we were talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sadie and
it sounds like we all in our initial reading interpreted it differently. Like Amber was like, oh, he's going back into the future to save and coming back to save Sadie. I thought he meant, or Ed thought he meant like dealing with the cops, and I thought he meant like, oh, like this was the sacrifice that had to be made to save JFK, so I have to deal with it.
No.
Interesting. Guess we're gonna find out.
Not over. Which is also funny to me because, like, in my thinking, it's like he will, he's thinking about this, like how Sadie's gone now, and so in my opinion, he's gonna have to go back to save her, and he could probably forego the original mission anyway, because now Sadie is like the main concern in his life. So it's like this whole thing has become so complicated because he went to the past to try to stop Oswald, and he fell in love with Sadie, and now Sadie's dead, and so is Oswald, but he probably doesn't even really care, so again, now Sadie is gonna be the main
He did everything he wasn't supposed to fucking do.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, which is what makes you so upset, because you're like, hello, keep on track.
We're on. Yes, I think Jake makes many stupid decisions, and Sadie should never have even been a factor in any of this.
I mean, to be fair, I think we're all on the same page that we think Jake is dumb and makes poor decisions.
Well,
But you also have to live your life for
he
5
also
years.
goes back and forth between like what he should and shouldn't change. It's like, oh, we talked
Yeah,
about
you
this
get mad
already.
about that.
Yeah, but like it happens again.
You've been reading my notes.
No, well, actually, no, I didn't read that part.
She goes, well, actually.
Well, because I was, but I didn't see that part.
So there's several butterfly issues, let's say. First one is he starts telling Sadie about what the future is going to be like.
Yeah,
when he's talking
he like
her into
really
it.
digs into that more in this
And that's not really a butterfly thing, but
It's not
Why?
smart.
why give her expectations?
And
Why not just take her there and say, this is what it's like? It's like, oh yeah, that's a thing now.
And
Oh
time
yeah,
out.
that's a thing now. Like,
time out. He is going back in time to try and change the future.
Yeah, right.
So why are you telling her things about the future that might not even be the future anymore?
That's a good point.
well, there'll still be
You don't know that.
I guess I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm
assuming,
saying.
Yeah.
Like, this could completely... Isn't that the whole point of him saving JFK?
Too bad he
It's
can't go back and
supposed
look
to
and like
What
take a
if he
piece.
goes-
totally
back.
change the
Yeah.
trajectory, and now you're like, well, this happened and this happened, and it's like, did it though? You don't know that anymore because you just changed history in such a major way, remember?
Well, that's also what we've been saying this whole time is like you can't mess with this stuff. Like all these things are changing, are creating all these parallel universes.
It's a lot of yellow card, man.
So many yellow card man.
And he's starting to get very selective about some things. He's like, I can't do that because it'll change because of the butterfly. I can hear him flapping his wings. And other things, he's like, I told them Orange Shield never to talk to Lee again.
Yeah.
What? Why the fuck would you do that? Because if you never talk to Lee again, for all you know, Lee's never going to decide to shoot Kennedy.
Yep.
I didn't understand that really either.
But isn't that the point? That's what he was trying to change?
Without having to kill him?
I mean, no. Because if he doesn't do it now, he thinks he's just going to do it some other time. So if he deflects him off of this one, he just thinks it's going to come back around.
Which is why he ends up... But originally...
Why he
when
has to kill him no matter what.
Goes to talk to Morrishield, my understanding was he was trying to take him out of the equation so that he knew that it would just be Lee if anybody.
Well, it's more the point of if you tell him to stay away from Lee, you're changing the past, which is going to change the future in a way you don't know.
All he's been doing.
Even without the assassination, just by saying don't ever talk to him again. You got it? Like,
Yep.
who knows what you changed when you did that?
I'm not gonna lie, I thought a lot about different things throughout this part because, well, even like at the end of the last part, like, would Johnny have attacked Sadie had Jake not been in the equation?
Well, that comes up.
What if?
Sadie says if it wasn't you, it probably would have been somebody else.
But she doesn't know that. What if she never fell in love with anyone else and just was on her own, and then Johnny just left her alone? Or was he gonna? Right, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Because that slice on her face is so life changing for her, and it affects so many other people in Jodie. Like, because she's thinking about not going back, and then they have the fundraiser, and all this stuff happens, and like,
ultimately, though, her life is not that much different.
Yeah,
She
but
just
like
has
the
I don't wanna say
butterfly
just,
effect is
but
the butterfly effect,
she has a huge
and
scar.
now you killed her.
Well, okay, to his credit, he tried to stop that from happening.
No, I know. I'm not saying he did it on purpose, but I'm saying now you have a person who's dead. Like what if?
But that I think we all saw coming because the past is obdurate and because what he's trying to change is such a big event.
Which I get, but what I'm saying is like, how does that now change stuff?
Don't you remember when she said a couple sessions ago, like, "Oh, this is so cute. Like, I love the love story," and I was like, "Yeah, don't get too comfortable."
Yeah, I didn't know you meant specifically you saw that coming.
Oh yeah,
I just thought it's Stephen King. Something's gonna happen.
Basically,
no, I thought Sadie was gonna die. Yeah.
Without saying it, she basically implied that like one of them was gonna die.
I don't think it's Jake because he's too miserable.
Nobody cares if Jake dies.
Yeah,
he just goes back to being nobody.
Mm-hmm.
What if Jake dies and you throw his body back through the rabbit hole?
Well, I think
does that reset? No, you have to come back the other way.
He would
11:22 Pet Cemetery.
No, that's not what I meant. Like
11:22.
Let's say you get a big fishing line and you throw his body through the rabbit hole, and then you reel it back in and reset it.
But then you won't even remember doing that because you're in the past.
Jake is still dead regardless. That's what we just talked about with.
No, but it would reset.
Yeah, he can't get reset though.
Jake can't, but the whole Kennedy thing could.
But wait,
I'm so confused.
No, I'm confused too.
Yeah, I never. See, the past is confusing. You can't overthink time travel. It never holds up.
Complicated. But that's my whole point. Like with what I was just saying, and the butterfly effect. Like that's the whole butterfly effect. It's something minute could change the course of history completely, and that's what I'm saying. You saved Kennedy, yeah, but now Sadie's dead. So like, how does that compute? You know, like.
And why the fuck did he tell Sadie that he was here to stop JFK from getting killed?
Because he's stupid. I'm gonna go back to. I'm gonna revert
that
back to
right
that.
there made me so nervous. And then she backed up my nervousness by when they were at the boxing match. She said something like, "It's okay. I know the future." Like, oh my God, you fucking.
Oh my gosh, I know, right?
You fucking blabbermouth. Shut up. Like, no.
Why would she say that? I thought that was the stupidest thing. Like, that is the last thing you should say if you actually know the future. And furthermore, the guy who ends up beating Jake's ass and the girl who is married to the guy he made the bet with is sitting in the front row. Like, what if they heard her say that? And just like, the whole thing is just,
I wonder if they did hear her say that.
Because he brings it up. He's like, how do you know? What do you know? Like, you knew this was going to happen for certain. How?
I don't think that had anything to do with Sadie.
That's because of the odds of the two bets.
He made the two most ridiculous, very specific bets.
Right, to the round.
And won both times. I would have been suspicious if I was.
I mean, yeah, I
don't know
agree,
why he
but
did that.
He said, like, in the 7th game, because he's trying to get the biggest payoff he could.
Yeah.
So he didn't have to go back.
He was trying to get the odds higher.
He
might have been much better off if he was just a regular visitor.
He should have hung out. He was in Derry for what, 3 months or something? Like, he could have went there every day, hung out, had a beer, been friendly with him.
Or I don't
bet $100 each time, or bet $50 each, whatever normal would be. And, like, if he did that once a week, he'd have had the same money.
I never understood that part either, because he had like
or
all
of something. That was about to get big.
There wasn't time for all that.
Oh, there's no stocks or... Well, yeah.
There was stocks, because that's what he says. That he says, "I wish Al would have followed the stock market, but
Right.
he didn't. He followed.
See, but we had this discussion, and you're like, what do you mean? Kirsten brought this up, I think it was one of the first or second ones. Like, what do you mean there's no time? You're going on this life-changing mission and you can't do a little bit of research?
I mean, I feel like he has 2 minutes because that's all the time he needs. Yeah.
He wish he had done it now.
I think he said there was no time. Well, there was pressure on the other end. Al died, so yeah, but it was
He
going
was
to be.
already, well, he didn't know he was dead.
He could have taken a couple hours before Al's body got discovered because that's where the no time comes in. Al died, so as soon as they found Al's body, he was going to be locked out of the diner. So he had to get to the diner before they discovered Al, which I guess is why Al died, to put pressure on Jake to leave right away.
You couldn't just pick up a couple of books or print out some sites. Go in
I
the
would have
past,
Googled something. I would have at least.
Go in the past, read through it all, take your notes, go back through the rabbit hole. It's only 2 minutes, and then jump back through, and you have all your research.
Using it as like a...
Wait. How does going to before it happened help you?
Because then you have more time because it's only going to take 2 minutes while you do
From
your
the
research.
present, yeah.
So hang
It's
out
like a
and see
library.
who. So hang out for a year and see who wins.
No. You're hanging out in the past while you do your research. You have all your materials. I don't know how you would do that though. Like print
That's what,
things
like,
off.
grab books and print off websites, go into the past and, like, look through it, take your notes,
I would
whatever.
save the websites on my phone. That's what I would have done. I would have just saved the websites on my phone and
Your
jumped through
phone's
the.
not going to work.
Yeah.
It's not gonna have service. It's gonna work. Initially,
There's no internet.
Yeah.
you save the.
Like screenshots?
It saves it locally if you save a website. Save the website page onto your phone.
I see what you're saying.
It'll access it from your phone, not from the internet.
Yeah. Okay.
So you say,
It'll load the whole page?
who give me.
Like in your docs, you mean? Like in
No.
Well, there's like apps that are like docs.
If
or
you
pages.
save a web page and you don't have internet, it can pull up. It caches the information.
But will
I
it
didn't know
be
that.
able to do that in the past?
It's not
Like-
pulling it off the internet. It's
Yeah,
just
as
pulling
long
it
as
off
the
your phone.
is charged.
If it's locally stored, you could.
It's
Or
like
you,
it's downloaded to the phone.
okay, I guess you guys are. I guess not everybody knows about that.
No,
So
I didn't know that.
so then save it as a document in your documents.
Yeah.
folder. And then you can pull it up
But
and save it as a
then
PDF
he
or something.
also, he has to be very careful with that because if somebody catches him,
Either
oh, he's
way,
gonna go
that's
through
not
back.
gonna
But if there's a time crunch, then it's something.
Al couldn't have just left in the diner when he died or something.
I mean, yeah. Show me the best
they
stocks
talk
for the last 60 years and save that to your phone. Something. If you're on a time crunch, I'm saying, like if you had time to research it all and print everything out and.
If only Al had given him more than a day. But then again, I don't know that he would have done it if he had more than a day to think about it. So
I don't think he would have.
yeah.
I still don't think he really
It's
wants
that
to.
panic decision making.
I think he did it. Well, he did it for Frank Dunning initially. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I still don't know why he went back because Al died. Like, I'm off the hook. I don't have to do anything now. He's doing it.
He was invested in Harry.
He already did
Or
Harry
whatever.
though. Like,
Yeah, but it was all messed up. Harry died, remember?
oh, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. He had to fix Harry, so he was still doing it for Harry.
Yeah. What was it? Hop Toad? or-
Hop to it, Harry. Hop to it, Harry. Hopping along. Something. Hopping along.
Hop Toad Avenue. That's what it was, because they were doing it to the song.
What song is that?
Oh yeah, see I wrote Jake is thinking about doing it all over again.
Yeah, I wrote. Why did he tell Sadie about JFK? That's a loud butterfly wing.
It's loud, but
And why did John Lennon really?
I
Why?
know.
Why even take that chance?
I didn't understand that. I thought that too. I was like, out of all the names.
And the guy's
you
like,
could
"What's your
pick."
name?" He's like, "John Lennon."
Oh yeah. And in the 60s, like isn't that what the Beatles were?
They were
around?
about to blow up.
Okay, yeah.
I think '64 was their first famous album. So
So stupid. He's just so dumb. I can't get over
you
it.
should have went with John Smith, George Jones, something.
Exactly.
Since he likes to be George.
Joe Williams, like something very.
John Doe.
That might have worked back then, you know.
It did.
Yeah.
George D was at Jack Ruby's club. I think that stopped Jake in his tracks at one point.
Which
What
is
is
Jack Ruby's club?
I forget the name of it. Jack Ruby was the guy that shot Oswald.
Oh.
Do you know this?
No.
Nobody knows why Oswald did what he did because 3 days, like the next day, they were transporting Oswald to the jail, and Jack Ruby came in and shot Oswald. So you've never heard a word from Oswald about what happened, why he did it.
Which is why there's so much.
The only thing he ever
mystery
said was,
surrounding
"I'm a patsy," and then he was dead. So was he making that
Really?
up? So bam, conspiracy theories.
Right,
it.
yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Ooh.
So you don't know why Oswald did what he
Ancient
did.
alien theorists.
Yeah.
So wait,
No.
and I apologize for my
I went to sleep on
ignorance.
that last night.
Because I don't know a ton about the JFK situation, assassination, all that stuff.
Situation.
But I mean, like the whole thing with like that happened thereafter too, with Oswald and everything. But so, do we know why Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald? Like, was he a big JFK fan, and he was just like, screw you for killing the president,
Or was he hired by the agency that wanted to keep Oswald quiet?
Ooh, conspiracy!
Did the mafia kill him?
Conspiracy
Jack-
after conspiracy.
Jack Ruby had mafia ties. He probably knows. He probably knows Roth.
No.
He's never said. I don't think Ruby was very. I think he lived for a while in jail, but not. He never said anything. I think he basically refused to talk about it, which didn't help the conspiracy theorists. Ancient alien conspiracy theorists. So George de Mohrenschildt was at Ruby's club, so that almost, ties everything together by him, because that means he knows Ruby, and that means he knows Oswald. That almost puts him in the middle of the picture, like.
So, thinking that George is involved in Ruby's killing Oswald.
In all of it.
Yeah.
And Oswald
Maybe
killing.
the ringleader.
Like George is the tie.
Or the
ringleader,
perpetrator.
the tie-in,
Yeah.
the antagonist, maybe. He's.
I guess we're gonna find out.
He's telling Lee to kill Kennedy. He's telling Ruby to kill Lee. He's like, we got to shut him up now. He did it. Like,
Such a charismatic guy.
like with his shirt off.
Oh, that was so weird and cringy.
I think he mentioned it again. The shirt ripping something. He called
Yeah,
him,
he does. He totally does. Yeah, I remember when that happened. I was just like.
Yeah, I just kind of glanced over that and kept going, but then you brought it up, and I'm like, that
gross and weird and unnecessary.
Yeah, all of that.
So, can we talk about like the obdurate past and all of the crazy things that happened?
Well, you should have seen that, Kevin. I mean, we've been
I
through this a
definitely
few
did.
times.
I definitely did, but I still would like to talk about it. And like I want to go back to the whole like key in the car thing, and I also want to reference the woman that helps them out.
Yes, the housekeeper.
The past
The
didn't
angel.
take her out of the equation. Like,
Because the turtle was there.
Well, she
is instrumental in allowing them to get to the end point. She basically nixes several things along the way because
What woman?
the housekeeper that they're waiting for the bus
that's
together.
a large woman.
And then she makes the bus driver get them on, and then she makes the two guys get up so they can sit down.
And then she forces the bus open again, too.
Yeah.
Like, she is instrumental in making sure that they get to the end point. And I'm like, the past would not allow that either.
She's the white.
See, you're catching on. Yeah.
Um,
And he also references
So
her.
the
as-
past is an actual entity.
It has been. Just like Jimla, just like the yellow card man. Green card man.
Black card man.
All of them.
Orange card man. So many cards.
Purple
But
card.
as
rainbow
for the
card,
housekeeper-
gay pride
Card
man.
man.
He references her directly as his angel, where
Yeah.
he's been other people's like angels in the past, which makes me think that maybe it is some kind of like outside force coming in to intervene, because that's what he was with Harry.
It almost seems as though Jake himself is picking up on that too, because he's like, oh, it was the yellow card man, but you saw him die, so what would make you think it's the yellow card man?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he starts to kind of like,
oh yeah, I definitely.
oh, he's somewhere out there, like he's involved, he's doing something wherever he is, you know?
I said the yellow card man's now the personification of, oh no, Al said that. The yellow card man is the personification of the obdurate past, which is a good way of putting it.
The obdurate past? Or the past?
Well, this is a quote, so I'm assuming it's, oh, I have put the page, hold on.
I don't. Yeah, I think he says obdurate past, but I don't know that I agree with
What
that.
page number?
Well, 676 was the one right above it, but I don't know if that's where this quote is. Hold on.
Page 76?
676.
Oh, 6, 7. I was gonna say, you really don't.
I like when he says, when Jake says something like, "What if he gives Lee the idea to kill Kennedy?" Like, what if Lee gets the idea for me? Like, the thought made me cold all over. Like, what if Jake just being in the past causes Lee to think of shooting Kennedy? What if Jake not going back, that never happens?
I think you were referring to the quote, "The yellow card man will stop you if you get involved," I said. I'm the only one he can't stop. Who is the yellow card man? Sadie asked, leaning forward and taking my hands. I don't remember, but he can't stop me because I don't belong here.
I don't know where you are, but I found my quote. It's 678.
You're near the
I'm
end.
on 676.
Oh.
I have that written down. Like, the yellow card man came back, yeah.
And then it said...
Oh, yeah, there, yeah.
Only he was stopping me, or something was.
It's 76 to 78.
Yeah, I wrote that down too because I'm like, what do you think he's been doing this whole time, Jake?
Hey, Jake, remember how we said you were dumb? You're being dumb again.
I said, what do you think? I said, what does he think is happening now?
You're talking about 678.
Well, both.
The yellow card man is personification of the obdurate
That
past.
was the quote, yes, but I also commented on what she said.
Is that the one on 678, that quote?
He thought you'd die from the beating, but you didn't. He thought you'd die of the infections, but you didn't. Now he's walling off those memories, the vital ones, because he knows it's his last hope of stopping you. How can he? He's dead. Al shook his head. No, that's me.
Oh, this was when he was like imagining Al. That's right.
He's in a coma.
Yeah.
Who is he? What is he? And how can he come back to life? He cut his own throat, and the card turned black. I saw it.
He's another, in my opinion, in my head, it comes off similar to like Jimla. It's like this. It becomes its own monster, like the obdurate past and the yellow card man and Jimla. Like they're all these, almost like you can't define it, but it's not good.
I feel like Jimlaw kind of faded out.
Yeah, but it's in the same idea.
And then the yellow card man came back in.
And the obdurate past, because that faded out too.
Yeah.
And turned into harmonizing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's both.
I could see the. I'm scared to comment too much.
Yeah.
On the yellow card man.
The yellow card man's the personification of the obdurate.
I could see that.
Oh shit. You know that, don't you?
The yellow card man doesn't want him there, but all he really ever says is, "You don't belong here. Get out."
Yeah, he can't actually stop him, but he can try.
He's like, "Fuck you." Well, fuck you too. Yeah, like why if.
Yeah, I'm
if
still very curious
if
how this all sums up because of the last part being the green card man.
Maybe he's in the green front. If he's a personification of the obdurate past, why doesn't he just punch him in the face when he walks through the rabbit hole and send him back into the the other way?
I mean, the past can't do that either. Not literally, but it's sure trying.
So the past is like a bad guy. It can't.
That's what I've
can't
been
confront
saying.
you directly.
Although
only indirectly.
This comes up later on too, where Sadie's talking about it and she calls it malevolent. And I didn't keep reading, but in my head I was like, wait, and I looked up malevolent because I was like, I don't think that's right. It's not
bad intentions.
Bad, right? It's not vicious, but he even comments on that. He is like, that's not the right word, but I didn't want to go into that right now. And it's like because malevolent implies ill will, and the past is not trying to hurt him. It's just trying to stop him from changing history.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't care about his well-being. It's just.
Yeah.
Well, did the yellow card man mention what happens every time he goes through the rabbit hole?
What?
Huh?
The exchange that they have?
What did you ask?
No. Did the yellow card man mention what happens every time they use the rabbit hole?
The yellow card man hasn't talked to him except for the
Saying fuck you.
Okay,
Yeah.
never mind. Never mind.
Oh, spoiler alert.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about him until you read the rest of the book. Because I don't know where he's at.
You got me into this, so help me out. At that point in the dream, Al opens his mouth to do just that, but the yellow card man intervenes. For Main Street, he comes out of the green front, or Kennebec Fruit. If it's in the cemetery, he rises from an open grave like George Romero Zombie. If in the diner, the door bursts open. The card he wears in the hat of his fedora is so black it looks like a rectangular hole in the world. He's dead and decomposing. His ancient overcoat is splotched with mold. His eye sockets are writhing balls of worms. I thought that part was interesting too.
It's definitely a Stephen King scene. Like, I can picture it in my head, like,
And I
flashing.
feel like
Something out of
it's-
Creep Show.
Yeah.
And I feel like this kind of is also a foreshadowing of the next chapter being, or the next part being like the green card man, and you saying like I don't want to say anything else about him because obviously you've read the whole thing. Like I feel like it's a foreshadowing, like it kind of is bringing back like, hey, this guy's important type of thing.
I
Because
think we
he's
know
always yeah,
He's
but I'm just
definitely
saying it's like foreshadowing and highlighting that's
We know he's important, we're just not real sure how he's
yeah,
important.
like
Or
that
what
he's
he
gonna
can
come
do.
back, like he's not really dead or something, you know?
Yeah, and if Jake goes back through the rabbit hole and does a
come
reset, is he there?
that's
'cause-
what I feel like we
'cause-
don't know because it was changing before.
Because he's not affected by the trips.
Right.
He lives outside of the
I don't think
timeline.
he's really dead though. Like he's like you said, it's like he's like a I don't even know, a different thing. Almost like the turtle thing you were referring to. Like he's like
I don't get turtle energy, but I don't necessarily
not
get-
like-
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying the same
Turtle.
concept. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's a
outside.
symbol,
It's not spider energy, though, so.
I was going to say that, but I didn't
Okay,
want to
now
lead
we're
to...
just evolving into Stephen King land where I'm not included in the
Well,
conversation.
I was going to say that earlier. I said, well, you're about to read the turtle versus the spider. But
Yeah.
It's Turtle's a player, but he's not a major player.
You know what? If
What?
the turtle's good and you're talking about spider energy being the opposite, this just solidifies my arachnophobia, so you can no longer make fun of me for it.
Oh, no.
Maybe
Silly that
Stephen
you...
King also has arachnophobia.
It's silly that you think that. When I was moving a couch for a 2-inch spider, yeah, I'm making fun of you.
Just saying.
To add on to what you were just saying, though, I also like that the yellow card man uses that phrase as like a. It's become its own now. Like, he can't tell you nothing because it's double money day. It's like, what does that even mean?
Look,
No one cares about double money day.
you're not going to understand this, but I had to mention it. Turtle Creek Boulevard. He says, look, Sadie, the motorcade's going along Turtle Creek Boulevard.
I didn't even catch that.
I
I'm not
did.
done. Is that where it's going to happen? I shook my head doubtfully. Probably not, but I knew something about Turtle Creek Boulevard, and it had to do with the man I'd come to stop. As I considered this, something floated to the surface. He was going to hide the rifle and come back for it later.
That's the street he hides the gun on, is Turtle Creek Boulevard.
Is that for real?
What page is that?
Isn't that in the last
80,
section?
682. No, I mean in real life, did he hide it on
Oh.
Turtle Creek Boulevard, or did he just pick that to throw a turtle in there?
Let's find out. Well, do they know that? Is that what happened? Did he hide his rifle and I don't know.
I knew there was something about a turtle in here. That's why when you started saying it, I was like, am I forgetting something that happened? Because I remembered turtles.
Yeah, did the motorcade really go along
Turtle.
Turtle Creek Boulevard?
Are you looking it up, Amber?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I also feel like the past would not have allowed this sign to point him in the right direction either.
Word of Al?
Oh, Turtle Creek
Yeah.
Boulevard is for Walker.
Oh, so his memories are fucking shit all up.
Right, so he knows something about it, but that was Walker, not JFK.
So Walker hid his gun?
Not
He-
Oswald.
Wait.
Oswald hid the gun to shoot
Walker
on
Turtle
Turtle
Creek.
Creek
Right.
Boulevard.
But he never had a chance to go find out if he did that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that in real life or just in the book?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Okay. So he followed
the man Oswald first tried to kill before JFK.
That wasn't
So
necessarily.
they probably, they probably found that rifle. Wait. How would they know he did that? Because it's the same rifle that he used to shoot Kennedy, right?
The same exact one?
Yeah. The one
That's
that was
true. How
at
would they know?
the one that was at Ruth Payne's house.
That is true. How would they know that if he got shot and didn't have the opportunity to explain that?
Like they don't know. Nobody knows who shot at Walker. That was one of the things he had to find out. So if they don't know it was Oswald, they don't know that Oswald had. I think Stephen King made all that up.
They did know it, or at least in the book. I don't know about real life, but it seems like they did know that it was Lee Harvey Oswald. The whole thing was he alone? Remember? Al was saying we have to make, if he was alone when he shot
Well, they might have
Walker,
matched the
then
bullets or
he was
something after the
alone in
fact.
shooting JFK.
So the real story says that 7 months before he shot JFK, Oswald took his rifle to Walker's house, stood by the fence, and aimed at the window and shot at him.
Mm-hmm. He was in an alleyway,
But
though.
how do they know that was him?
Yeah.
Does it say?
Oh.
Ballistics, maybe?
They said he wrote a note.
Oh, shit.
On April 10th of 63, Oswald left his wife a note made for Walker's house.
He left that part out. Oh, well, that happened while he was getting beat up.
Yeah, there's a long... Oh, it's a note about him shooting at Walker.
How did he not get caught? He left a fucking note?
I mean,
Yeah, but
maybe that
if
didn't
he-
come out until after the
What does the note say? Does it
I was gonna say, because
It's
if he
long.
left it for his wife,
Is it like
she's
a
not gonna run to the
communism's great?
police and say, "Hey, my husband left me this note. Go arrest him." She was probably like,
Speaking of notes. In the obdurate past, I guess.
"Jake's to Sadie."
Jake's on the car. Why was that important? And what the fuck did it say?
Jake's what?
Yeah, I want to know that too. It never said.
When the car
Oh,
throws
the
a
tow-
rod and they almost
yeah.
hit the tree, and someone else
Well, that's what I was thinking.
is going to tow the car, he
They
writes,
have
he
to
leaves a
bring
note
it
on the
back
windshield.
Yeah.
They have to, because they never.
What
I
I
was
was thinking
waiting for
is
it. They never did.
It'll tie into him trying to get out, like trying to be innocent.
That's what I was
And
thinking.
they're gonna find
too.
it, and somehow it'll look bad.
It has something to do with him trying to get.
Yeah, he's like, I
Escape route.
took my time because it's important.
I think it was-
But he never says.
Because his all of his stuff is in there. His notes from Al. Oh yeah, duh. Imagine that. If they find that after what just happened, there's no way they would believe him.
I think they say that later.
I forgot about that.
Is that's all in that car?
Yeah.
Yeah, he leaves it there.
You see, he should have just like had that on his phone or something. So he could have just thrown the phone out when he was done with it, and
Destroy it. Yeah.
That's definitely gonna
instead of
come.
carting all that evidence around.
Because they definitely did.
At the
have
very least,
technology
he's got to
then.
find that tow man, that truck, like that car. I mean,
Yeah, does he even know where it's getting towed to?
Maybe,
He doesn't have time to think about that right now because he's got to get to
stop
Oswald.
it. Yeah.
Maybe the note was like, burn this car or something. Like,
Maybe that's true.
something like that, just to totally destroy.
burn
I left
Contact.
$2,000 in a glove box. Destroy this
I would
car.
never ever trust that in my life. You know they're keeping everything in that car.
Yeah, I wouldn't be there.
Yeah, if I'd have found, well, yeah, first thing I would have done was looked in the
Look
car.
through it, yeah.
Especially because he asked someone else to get it towed for them. So, like, how
Yeah.
do you know they're not going to go through it
Yeah, as that poor
before it
mom.
even gets towed?
She's like, well, I guess I could stroll up the block and call for you. And he's like, great.
Yeah, I know.
I know, they were just like,
Are you so in agreement? Thanks.
yeah, just like makes off before she can
Right.
change her mind. She's like, wait, I
I don't
think
have
you
time
actually-
to debate your acceptance of my proposal.
She was probably, if I was her, I'd be like, I didn't think you were actually gonna take me up on that offer, so I actually take that back.
He finally calls him Mike Coleslaw when he's all drugged up.
Yeah.
Like, yes, I knew that. It had to be in there
Yeah.
somewhere. Because I'm sure every one of his friends called him coleslaw. There's no way they did.
I gotta say, having a section like that's a little confusing as a reader because I'm like, I don't even remember what's real all the time to begin with, and so now I'm supposed to remember what's half real.
That's what kind of makes this book amazing. You really don't, if you don't know the story by heart, like you kind of don't know what he's making. He just intertwines it all together pretty amazingly.
Oh, and I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It never occurred to me also that something like this could happen and he could convince himself that he was not from the future and that he's from this time and that none of that ever happened. Like, that's
so
another,
scary. Maybe that's all just a delusion.
Oh,
I was thinking
it's like
about that
waking
too.
up in a
like,
coma, but
as soon as they said that he had a head injury that was like messing with his memories, I was like, oh, this is definitely not good.
you know, maybe it's a good thing he did tell Sadie because otherwise he would he have been able to get his memories back?
Mm-hmm.
What if he would have
What does Sadie have to do with getting the memories back?
doctors about this?
No, that's true. She does help him remember things, but not those specific.
The sign is where it leads him to the safe deposit box, and that's really where they all come flooding in.
It is kind of weird that he seems to still know, even with all that going on, like that's part of that stuff is real. Like,
I found it interesting that he forgot, like, not only things that he did, his personal memories, but the memories that he had of the historical record. Like, he may not remember who Oswald is, but every kid that ever went to school in the 90s or whatever knows who killed Kennedy.
Right.
But he forgot that part of it too.
yeah.
Oh.
So he didn't just forget his personal experiences. He forgot
regular memory, like basic.
Everything.
I mean, memory.
Even stuff that didn't have anything to do with him.
But you remember that the president was black?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, memory is weird like that.
Yeah.
All long-term memories are housed in the same place, so and all short-term memories
and it's like a
housed
Rolodex.
in the same place. So it's not necessarily unusual that he would forget things from his personal life and forget things that he
From both
learned.
lives.
Yeah, because things that he learned in like school or something, because it's all housed in the same place in your brain. It's all long-term memory. So
yeah, I thought that was interesting.
because his short-term memory's fine. Short-term memory's intact, but it's some of the long-term memory.
No, he
Deke
can't
knows
even
about
remember-
Kennedy too.
He doesn't even remember their names at first. He calls them.
That's long-term memory.
He calls them.
But
he calls her blonde.
Well, what is long term? He's only known them a few years. Is that
Short-term memory is basically so all your memories get converted into long-term memory overnight when you sleep.
okay? That was the answer I was looking for.
So anything that's like less than a day is going to be short-term memory. Anything that is further on than that is long-term memory. So he obviously
What if
knew
you're awake
Sadie
for
and
48
Deke's
hours?
information. Obviously he knows, like,
That's long, short term.
yeah, right. Obviously he knew Deke and Sadie's name for the past like year or whatever, so that's long-term.
Yeah. Okay.
Really?
I see. So okay. So he's not like the guy on 51st Dates.
So
who
I know your
forgot
name,
every
not
3
because-
minutes or whatever.
I know what to call you, not because of anything that happened today. Just
Correct.
shit I have stored from years ago.
That's
Well,
a weird
yeah.
example, though. That's
Of course, because like
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess when I say it out loud,
it's not like
it kinda
every
makes
single
sense.
time I come over I have to remind you my
I'm
name
Kirsten.
is Kirsten.
Yeah.
Like, hi, my name's Kirsten.
Yeah, it makes sense when I
Pretty
say
sure
it.
that
because-
memory is in there from the first time that I met you.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't feel like I remember anything from 4 years ago, much less people's name.
But that
you
this is
But I
you.
do.
Yeah.
I do. Yeah,
Think about like numbers. You remember that from your childhood.
I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah, I
You remember
my-
who shot JFK?
No, I don't. I know what I've been told.
I know.
Oh my god, you know what I'm talking about.
We
According
need
to the history
Giorgio's
books.
opinion on this one.
But that's what I was saying. Like, he forgot that kind of shit too.
That's a
Like,
good point.
Not just the
But
stuff
and
that
that's
had.
that's the whole point I'm making. That's all in long-term memory. So it's because you were like, it's weird that he forgot both, and I'm like, it's
all the
not though
same
because it's
memory.
all in the same
Yeah.
memory bank. So it's not
He
weird.
just happens to be living 2 lives.
Yeah, it
makes
just
it
gets
harder.
complicated because he's remembering a lot of different shit. You know, so it
So we don't
does
even-
make sense.
know if Turtle Creek Boulevard is made up.
It isn't.
That part.
That's...
Well, I don't know if I even got that far, to be honest.
Oh, I thought
But
you...
when I searched turtle, that's what came up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, okay, so
I
it
thought-
was Turtle Creek Boulevard. We just didn't. How the fuck do they know what Lee did?
The note that he left for Marina in real life.
Okay, he left her a note. Did it say?
But I thought she.
So they
was-
know somebody left.
Oh,
her
the
a note.
general's home is on Turtle Creek Boulevard.
It is on Turtle Creek
Was on
Boulevard.
Turtle Creek Boulevard.
Okay. Okay.
So he just used the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and he said, "I stashed the gun on." So okay. So he's just stoned and mixing up memories. This is where
He's a hot mess.
yeah, pretty much. You didn't, couldn't let Sadie have it. He had to get his own problems. What?
This article says he left a cryptic note for Marina on the night of April 10th, took his rifle to the general's home on Turtle Creek Boulevard. The shot, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, Oswald returned to his apartment on Neely Street that night to an angry Marina. She was angry because of his cryptic note? I don't... There's a lot...
I would be angry if, John left me a note saying, hey, I'm going to, kill this senator or something.
I don't know if...
No, he didn't leave her a note.
I
She
guess...
was just mad when he got back. Why was she mad? I don't remember.
No,
He did leave her a note.
It is, in real
Marina.
life. Yes. That's who the note was for.
Oswald, she just read. Oswald, when he went to kill General Walker, left Marina.
I thought it was
a
Walker's
note.
wife he left a note for at the scene.
No,
Marina is-
Oswald left a note for his wife and went to go shoot at Walker and then came back to an angry Marina. And I'm with you. That's why the word angry seems so absurd to me, because it's almost like a soap opera. It's it came back to an angry Marina.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some problems, sir.
Now, you don't go shooting any more
Yeah.
generals or senators around here, okay?
Why did he leave her a note? In case he didn't come back?
I don't know. He's insane.
He might have gotten caught. I mean, he might have thought, oh, I might get
I
arrested.
didn't abandon you. In
While
case...
the evidence is
Yeah, I
pretty-
didn't abandon you. I got arrested.
Says while the evidence is pretty unequivocal that Oswald did it, questions still linger about whether he could have done it alone because he couldn't drive. One witness to this shooting reported seeing two men flee the scene.
See? Nuts are out.
Demo and Shret, whatever his name is.
The grassy knoll.
That's the big one. There's another shooter on the grassy knoll.
It's funny that it is actually Turtle Creek Boulevard.
It is.
Yeah, so I think he just used that to his advantage.
Yeah.
He was like, ooh, a turtle.
Ooh, a turtle.
Well, it also,
Yeah, how many letters are in Turtle Creek Boulevard?
talking
piece
about
of
the
candy.
personification of evil, it also reminds me
Piece of candy.
of the book depository. That seems to be kind of the mecca of all evil in this story. Not all,
I
but
think it's funny that Sadie picks up on it. As
Well,
soon
everyone
as she
can-
sees the book depository, she's like, "Oh, I don't like
he
that."
said even strangers walking on the street, cross the street on subconsciously
Yeah.
to avoid
That's
it.
just like Stephen Kingisms.
But it also
Giving buildings ominous,
he's been-
malevolent personalities.
he's been doing that with. That's what I've been saying this whole time, though, with all these things. So that's why I like.
These inanimate objects.
Yeah, I mean,
I
that
like
part of
seeing it in this building form, especially because of how it's able to speak to him without doing a single thing.
Yeah.
It's just standing there, but because it's such a big, an ominous looking building.
it's ominous because he knows what's going to happen.
I wonder, is it the building or is it the plot
Well, we talked about this before.
of land?
Oh, that I don't know.
Why was there an Indian burial ground there?
Exactly.
I thought you meant.
Oh,
Is it,
wait. Native American burial ground.
I thought you meant. Is it?
I'm saying,
Was
is
it
it
evil
the
because
physical
Oswald-
location,
I don't
or
think.
is it because
You could
the
say that
building
about
is there?
any haunted
Yeah, it doesn't
house.
really matter that much.
Well, I mean, it is
It's just
what
an
it is,
interesting
but-
concept to me.
Is The Shining haunted because of the
Hauntings
building,
can
or
follow you too, so
is
it's
actually
not.
an
It's,
episode, a podcast about that?
it's all a lot. It could be tied to a building, it could be tied to the land, then it can latch onto you and follow you wherever you go.
That's paranormal activity.
Conjuring.
And
No.
Poltergeist.
Oh, that wasn't Conjuring.
Poltergeist.
Oh, I was watching something. So, anyway.
Oh yeah, you only moved the headstones. No, that stayed in the same
That
house.
was the
though.
land.
Yeah, that never left the house. or it didn't move with them. It just stayed where it was. Poltergeist was definitely the land
Yeah.
because the house was zapped out of existence.
Literally
at
the
end
land.
of it.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, is it?
That part to me is like,
If I'm being haunted, I don't know that I care.
It's just interesting to think about. Like, is it, if the building was somewhere
Is this
else,
your
would
first
that
time
spot
thinking
still
about
be
hauntings?
creepy? Or no? I'm just saying because
it's like kindergarten. No, I'm just kidding.
alright, whatever.
Cross the
It's
line.
interesting to me.
But what I was going to say that I really like about this building is like,
I think every situation is different. Go ahead. Sorry.
just the way that, like, again, the way that it speaks to him, unlike anything else that we've talked about, any of the other monsters. Like, it is very clearly, it reminds me of The Shining, actually, and how it what's the word?
Obdurate.
No, how it changed Jack for the worse, but
Transformed, metamorphosized.
there's a word that I can't think of.
Possessed?
Poisoned? Maybe? Yeah. Possessed is probably a good word too. But like, even like page 706, and he's looking at it again, he's like, we know a secret, they said. Like, I can hear it in my head. We know a secret.
Like little girls with a jump rope or something.
Especially the one on the southeast
The
corner
jump
of
rope
sixth
girls.
floor. We're going to be famous, and you can't stop us. Like, I just love it.
Yeah, I kind of saw that as, that's cute. I'm not really buying it, but it's cute.
Oh, I'm buying it.
Well, with Jake, yes. With Sadie,
You said 706?
Mm-hmm. At the bottom.
I wanted Sadie and my
Oh, I
pound
see
cake
it.
too.
We know a secret.
Isn't that redundant? I wanted Sadie and my pound cake.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I'm like, those are the same thing.
I mean, I guess there's more to Sadie than pound cake, but
Amber's like, they're the same thing. She's good for nothing else.
But he's not using pound cake.
She's
Well,
just a traditional prostitute.
at least she's traditional.
yeah, what is it not traditional?
Yeah, I'm kind of interested.
Crypto coin? Cryptocurrency?
She does all the freaky stuff.
Anyway.
I've been driven toward that brick hulk like a cow down a slaughterhouse chute.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's what he's, right before, he says, of course it's gonna end here. Couldn't end anywhere else. I'd be foolish.
I kind of agree with that. You know, despite what you thought, it was never going to end in April, 6 months early, unless you, when you knocked on his door, hello, have you seen my husband? Just start shooting. I mean, not her, but unless he'd have shot him when he met him, it was going to come to this. Like I said, Jake doesn't know he's in a Stephen King book apparently. I took one final glance at the book depository over my shoulder. It was looking at me. I had no doubt of it. And of course it was going there. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really think about that till he said it. I was like, yeah, there's no way. It almost has to happen that way. Deke knows about Kennedy. I said that earlier, but like, what the fuck, dude? I mean,
Yeah, not only did Sadie make that stupid comment at the boxing match, but then she goes and tells everything to Deke too. Like, you don't think that it was bad that now you're telling other people? What is wrong with you? Keep your mouth shut.
yeah, and then Deke and Sadie are like, well, how should we tell them about Kennedy? And then they make a call
Yeah,
anyway.
they're like, oh my god, yeah, they're like, what are you doing?
But that phone call could have fucked everything up. What if they had to up security and Oswald couldn't go to work? I mean, I guess that would have been good, but...
That's the point.
Well, the point is Oswald has to die. Because if he deflects him now, he's just going to do it some other time. He's already
What if
decided
he
that.
gets arrested though,
Well,
and is jailed for?
Well, that would work, I guess.
But I guess they can't. Like, you can't. That's kind of what Amber was saying when we were talking about like the.
He's gotta take a
whole
shot in
whatever
order to
thing.
get
You
arrested,
can't-
though.
Exactly. You can't preemptively say like, oh well, you're going to do something, so we're gonna jail you.
And now that we're talking about it, that was the whole point of April 10th, and that, so that he could avoid all this to begin with.
Yup. He screwed it up.
Well, Johnny screwed it up.
Why did
No,
the guy...
Jake screwed it up a long time ago.
The guy in the...
honest.
We're just going to keep going. Either we wrap this up in 10 minutes or we do it again.
I'm down with wrapping it up.
I think so.
Covered everything.
I think 2 hours is enough. Yeah, a racial mixture so balanced it looked like a casting call for Law and Order SVU.
I also like how is that supposed to be an insult? Because isn't that a good thing?
That's like a backwards compliment.
Yeah.
I thought, what was I watching? He's like,
It's a backhanded compliment.
yeah, he's like, that's the very definition of a backhanded compliment.
Like,
It might have been a podcast.
you're so brave for wearing that coat at this time of year.
Yeah.
Or like, where, you know what I mean? Like, you're so brave for wearing a dress that tight after just having a baby. Something like that.
Yeah. You look good for just having a baby.
Yeah, right. Wow, you look great for your age.
You don't look great for my age. I don't see it.
I don't remember that, but
He said the guy did a double take, and then it just moves on. Even at FC. So on 694. Remember we were like, "What's FC?" And he doesn't. We were making shit up, and he was making shit up. Jake was. I gotta find it. So on 694, he says First Corn Bank. On 690, fuck, I didn't highlight that one. A couple pages before that, he says, what does FC stand for? And he's throwing out ideas. And then in the next chapter, he's like, I went to First Corn Bank, but he never says when he figured out what FC was, unless it was just...
Oh, when he's trying to remember things, you mean?
Yeah. He's like, FC was this, FC was that.
I don't really remember that. But I think once he
Yeah, I guess. But they never told us what FC meant.
I was thinking, you're right, yeah. I guess once he remembered the safe deposit box, it was like all the same.
Yeah, because First Corn would not have been my guess. First Commonwealth, anything but corn, honestly.
Yeah, I was thinking that too, actually.
How does that?
I was like, that's a weird name.
James Hosty, FBI agent, was making regular visits to Oswald. What the fuck was that about?
Well, they talked about that in the beginning in his notes, like that Oswald was paranoid, but he had a right to be because they actually were onto him, probably because of the Walker shooting.
No, because of the communism thing. He defected to Russia, then defected back from Russia. So they're like, I don't trust this guy. He might be a double agent.
Who has a Russian wife?
Yeah, imagine
and
that.
hangs out with Russians?
Yeah.
No, he's not suspicious.
Seems normal.
How does the past anticipate intent?
I don't think it does.
It assumes he's going to kill Oswald. How does it know that? It's throwing all this shit in his way to stop him from doing something. How does the past know what he is going to do?
It's a great question.
Well, how is the past able to do anything at all?
That's also a good question.
Let's just assume it is.
Yeah, I think if you're assuming that the past is its own entity and is able to...
And then the past is thinking and all that. And...
Yeah, like if it's able to put obstacles in your path...
Because it knows where you're going.
It has to know your path, yeah. I mean...
How does it know? What if I change my mind? What if I woke up today and I was going there and I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do that tomorrow.
You're like trying to trick it, and you're like, I actually like Oswald, or I hate JFK. Like I want him to kill him now. Like I'm a supporter, and you're going there like, do.
Start saying,
just kidding, snap.
Yeah. Start talking out loud so the past can hear you.
Yeah.
Like, JFK is awesome. I would never kill Oswald. Yeah, it gives
it is something I didn't consider because you're right. What if he was just doing stuff? But again,
what if he was just doing stuff?
Like,
but everything he does is going to change the past because he's not supposed to be there in the first place.
A good point. So it has to know. It has to be able to know intent. But you would think. Yeah, this is too complicated. Because I'm like, you would think any change is too much change, and it wouldn't want him to do anything at all.
That was kind of the point I was making.
Yeah.
He's not supposed to be there at all. So like, him just being physically there is a change that the past is not probably gonna like.
You wanted to talk about the rattle, didn't you?
The what? Me?
Yeah.
The rabbit hole?
Rattle.
Oh, I just said I wonder if that will come back up later too, because
Yeah.
he said, where did he put that? In his
Glove box?
Rattle went into the briefcase.
Briefcase.
where the papers are.
Yeah.
I don't even understand
So
why
he's
he
totally
wanted the rattle.
screwed then.
Why
Well,
would he keep that?
that was what makes it seem important, because obviously it's not.
It's just so
For
random.
nothing.
Like he's walking
Yeah,
in their
but
backyard and he's like,
That's
yeah,
like
this
if they
seems
find
like
that
I
briefcase,
need it.
that ties him to Oswald. That makes him a suspect.
Exactly. Like the notes are bad enough, but then you find that his daughter's baby rattle. Like case
Right.
closed.
Case closed.
They're gonna keep that DNA forever till they can do something with it.
Case closed.
What happened? Okay, so let's say they find that briefcase.
He's in a shit ton of trouble.
A week from now, Jake's already back in 2011.
Okay.
They keep the rattle in evidence for 60 years.
Oh, I see where you're going.
They DNA test it, and it comes back him. Except he wasn't alive yet.
They
Oh,
would
boy.
probably think something like that did happen. I feel like
It did?
it sounds familiar,
In real life?
but it was, but it's relative.
It's a different Stephen King book. The Outsider.
Oh.
But wait,
Oh,
did
yeah.
something like that happen in real life? Is that what you were saying?
Well, like it would be not the same person, but it was like a descendant of, or
Mm.
Yeah, that's how they catch serial killers now. The serial killers' families put their DNA profile up there, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did you do that for?" And they catch them because it's close enough to the DNA that they have that it has to be a family
I
member.
didn't know you were gonna be a murderer.
Right? Should have told me.
Sorry, I didn't know you were going to be a psychopath
I didn't know
when
you
you grew up.
I didn't know you're gonna eat people for a living.
For a living, like you make money off of that. Everyone come and see me eat people. $5 a pop.
On the did the Waltons take way too long to say goodnight?
Sorry, what'd you say?
He said, "Would I be taken to either the nearest police station for questioning or back to Parkland for psychiatric evaluation?" Did the Waltons take too long to say goodnight? Every episode of the Waltons, it was like a shot of the front of the house, and every bedroom light turned off one at a time. Like, good night, John. Good night, Doug. Good night, Doug. Good night, Doug. Like, matter of fact, the guy that played John Boy Walton, this is before my time, it was like early 70s, is Bill Denbrough in the first It.
Like adult?
Yeah, the guy with the thing on his face. That's John Boy Walton.
I was talking to somebody about John Ritter, and you're like, he was in It? I was like, yeah, he was Ben.
Oh my God. You obviously don't know anything about John Ritter. He was in a movie, and I forget what it was called. And there was a scene where, like, for some reason, both her boyfriends were there at the same time, and it was dark, and they both had glow-in-the-dark rubbers on, and it was like a sword fight. All you could see was like the glow-in-the-dark rubbers going back and forth.
Definitely wasn't Three's Company.
No, it was not Three's Company.
What's happening?
I forget what that movie was called. It was funny. Not that that has anything to do with the podcast, which is ending in 2 minutes.
Oh yeah.
I feel like we hit
Yeah, I mean,
most
pretty
of
much
it
covered
anyway.
We're gonna see what happens
Jake.
with the green card man, and what happens with Jake.
He's just the card man. 'cause
Jake's
he thinks
still in the middle of the shit, right? Yeah, Sadie just died, so he's still in the book depository, and
Yep.
we're gonna see how
with a bunch of security guards there to detain
what
him.
happens, what happens in the future, what
Because
happens.
he's the only one alive now. Sadie's dead.
Well, he told
Lee's
the
dead.
guard downstairs what was gonna happen.
I know. That's why I'm
So we'll
very
see,
curious what's next.
Yeah, that puts him in a little bit of trouble, huh? Maybe he saw.
Yeah,
I saw him pointing the gun out the window.
He did
Yeah,
kind of rush
yeah.
in there, but he said he was his friend. Sorry.
Yeah, he said he was his friend to get in, but then he's like, I'm actually not his friend. Like, he's about to kill the president.
He did say that too. Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
but yeah, you're right. He easily could have been like, oh, I saw it.
Yeah. Well, some of the questions get answered immediately.
Okay.
The next chapter starts.
Hey!
Oh, you already read it.
No, I didn't actually.
What?
I didn't, and regardless, even if I did, we can't talk about it.
Okay. Everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
End the episode. Thanks.
Bye.